Hello and welcome to your pre-match build-up of Southampton against West Ham United. A few changes for West Ham tonight. Rumours are to believe the official lineup's out in 5 minutes, but they are to be true. There's a couple of surprise inclusions, plenty of changes. Gonzo, how are you feeling before you get to know the lineups?
Suspicious. You got a sneaky look about you. You said something sneaky and suspicious before we went live. You've dropped me in onto an internet video when we pants down, so to speak. So I don't know what's coming, if you pardon the expression. A little bit of trepidation, maybe, mate. I'm a little bit worried about what you're going to say. I'm not looking to that direction at the moment because the live chat's there, and I would imagine, as with all these things, they've already got a whiff of it. So I'm not looking at them. I'm not going to look at you. I'm not looking at anything. So I'm very hopeful. I'm looking forward to seeing Lanzini and Benrahma start either side of Yarmolenko, is what I'm saying.
Well, you'll just have to wait and see what happens. And the news from Southampton, though, Gonzo, tonight is that, Hassan Hutel will not be in the dugout. He's lives with someone who's tested positive. So although he hasn't tested positive, someone he lives with has. Therefore, he will not be at the game tonight. Does that give us any advantage whatsoever? Does the Moyes thing earlier on in the season when Moyes was out, we actually played possibly our best football. So,
yes and no. I think it's, you alluded to it in, was it the breakfast show maybe this morning, when we were talking about their academy system and the way the under-12s play, the way the under-15s play, and everybody plays the same system throughout the club. So I would imagine it will impact them less than most in that respect. I'm sure they're all really, really well drilled, and it's something we're all going to have to deal with. I said again in the breakfast show this morning, I'm surprised it was only Man City that are being impacted. I said that this morning. I would be amazed, even if West Ham or anyone, if the whole Premier League can complete their next 3 rounds of fixtures without numerous games being postponed, then I would certainly be surprised at that. Just the manager missing, I think they've done relatively well, to be perfectly honest with you. But it'll be a miss, no doubt about it, because he's a big personality.
I don't think he's a mouthy manager throwing the touchline. Whenever I watch Southampton, he's always on the touchline. He's one of these that he doesn't sit down. He's always there. But he doesn't appear to be quite... He's not animated as much as Klopp, for example. But yeah, I think not having the manager there has got to... It depends who your coaches are sometimes. I think some coaches must love the manager not being there. This is their chance. This is their chance to step up a little bit. And if the director man's sitting there watching and you're able to show what you can do almost as like a manager if you want, I think you can also show the actual manager what you can do. I think it's an opportunity for someone on the Saints coaching team. The rumours are going, so before I get I won't tell you the lineup, but the rumours are, I think, if I'm correct, there's 6 changes to the team that started Brighton. Is this what Moyes needed to do? Before you see the actual team, did he need to bring the changes?
Well, I thought we looked tired, if that means anything. I thought Bowen looked shattered, by the way. Certainly he can't start Noble, because that would be, 3 games in a week or 8 days for Mark Noble? He couldn't do that 3 or 4 years ago, so why should he be able to do it now? I thought Declan Rice looked a bit knackered, I've got to say. I don't know, it's going to be interesting. I would imagine he needed to do some changes, but this is just shows the folly of not picking up the points when they're available, when you could, regardless of what we thought about Moyes' 11. But as far as Moyes is concerned, he's first choice available 11, regardless of what we think of that. That's why when you have a full or close to a full squad available to you, and you're playing one of the bottom teams, you go and pick up the points, because now you're playing one of the better teams. You don't have a full squad available. You are a little bit knackered, and you're going to have to mix it up a bit. So, 6 changes is a lot of changes for any manager. It's an awful lot of changes for David Moyes in particular. He does not like changing things at all. He's been banging a drum for consistency. Don't forget, Gio, this is why Lanzini can't get in the team, because the team have been playing so well and so consistent. This is why Benrahma can't get in the team, because the team have been playing so well and playing so consistent. It's why Fredricks can't get back in the team. Blah, 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 blah. He likes a consistent team. So he's not got it now. I'll be really, really interested. Now we're going to find out how well they've been drilled on the training ground.
Yeah, I've been more nervous for the lineup than the actual game tonight, if that makes sense. Because I think the lineup takes how the game's going to go. Normally I'm quite relaxed. Like, Moyes can do what he wants. Moyes can do what he wants. But the lineup's out and there's 5 changes. There's 5, so I miscounted wrong in my head. Fabianski continues in goal, and we're continuing with reverting back to a back 4. Ryan Fredricks comes in at right back with Craig Dawson partnering Ogbonna at centre back, and Aaron Creswell continues at left back. And this is what I believe is the lineup. Declan Rice will then be the defensive midfielder with a midfield 4 of Soucek, Lanzini, Fornals, and Yarmolenko, with Sebastian Aller, the lone striker. A couple of talking points on this one, Gonzo, but the first of all, back to a back 4 with Fredericks coming in, as well as Craig Dawson getting his first start in the league.
Well, it's the Dawson one for me out of everything that you've read. Is Diop on the bench?
Yes.
Well, how he feels about that is anyone's guess. I would imagine David Moyes can expect the transfer request tomorrow morning. I would imagine on that one. And I mean, that is weird. That is weird. The midfield, and I think that's fine. I don't mind that midfield at all. Actually, I think it is freshening it up. I think you've got 2. At least you're starting with 2 attacking players in there, in Lanzini and in Yarmolenko. I would imagine. Fornals in there who had a rest in the last game. That sort of makes sense. Rice, you can't rest all the midfielders, can you? So you said Soucek's in there as well. So that's going to be, I think it's quite an interesting formation, actually. I don't mind the formation. Fredericks, he runs his socks off Soufal, doesn't he? Doesn't stop Soufal. And Fredericks never did anything worthy of losing the place. You know he's not my favourite player, particularly Fredericks, but I think it was the Newcastle game was the only good player we had. Arsenal game, I thought he was man of the match for that as well. And we saw a lot of him after that. So, fair play to Fredericks. He deserves that. And Soufal's got to have a rest. He runs so much. Dawson's a weird one because that is, the defence is where the cohesion is. That's where you need the familiarity. They've never played with one another before, if you pardon the expression. And that's going to be an interesting. It's an interesting venue to feel each other out for the first time, certainly. So yeah, going to be. Depends what Southampton's team is, but that's an interesting defensive partnership to face an attacking team.
My concern early doors is because we know the lineup, and I believe the formation is supposed to be like a 4-1-4-1 formation with Rice the one sitting. I guess the question is who's right midfield? Who's playing right midfield out of that team? We would assume Fornals is probably on the left, so Lanzini or Yarmolenko will be on the right. So which one is it? And I hope it's Lanzini because Yarmolenko cannot track back. He doesn't like doing it. He won't track back. And Southampton like to get their fullbacks up the pitch and stuff. So I just hope Yarmolenko is almost in some sort of number 10 role or something. But going by what the formation is believed to be, it would suggest that Yarmolenko is going to play on the right. And that would be a weak spot for us, I think. I think if I was Southampton, we'll wait and see the Southampton lineup, but I'd be saying, let's get Ryan Bertrand on the ball. Let's get Ryan Bertrand forward and expose Yarmolenko's lack of defensive enthusiasm, if you want to call it that. Craig Dawson is a concern. I don't like him. I don't think he was a good player at Watford. He's come here. I've been pleased not to see him so far. Played for the under-20. Played for the under-23s against Peterborough. Apparently, he was one of the worst players on the pitch. He then got included on the bench above Diop for an away game. I can't remember which it was now, but he was on the bench and Diop wasn't. And the reason was almost to just give Dawson a little bit of first team experience. And we actually had a chuckle at it and said, "No, you can't do that." Actually, the fact he's starting today, I think I'm almost going to go along with that and suggest that maybe he is in the team for first team experience at the ripe old age of 34 or whatever he is. It's a bit of a concern that Diop's not starting because. Well, I don't know. I hope Dawson has man of the match. I genuinely hope Craig Dawson was one of our best players tonight. I hope that for every player. But it's a bit of a worry that he's starting in there. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the bench now, and the bench is interesting, Jeff. For those of you that don't know, the bench is Randolph, Diop, Johnson. Unlucky for Johnson, it has to be said, after a man of the match performance and a debut goal, the first ever goal. Him not starting is a shame for him. Soufal, Noble, Snodgrass, Bowen, Benrahma, and Antonio, I guess, is the big news, Geo, as well.
Yeah, Antonio's on the bench, which is fantastic. I think that's a really good positive as well. It gives us that little... The problem is Moyes is going to have an itchy finger. If we're not winning, Moyes is going to be itching to get Antonio on. And the question is just how fit is Mikel Antonio? because it's a risk, innit? We saw it go wrong when we brought him back the first time against Aston Villa. He almost had to get dragged off the park. He was broken. He couldn't move. So that's the way. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the Southampton team now. We're going to have a little match discussion, put a bet on. Then myself and Gonzo are going to spend 5 minutes interacting with a live chat. We're using a different software than normal because I'm not at home. I'm in a different location at the minute. So we're going to take advantage of the software we're using, which is we can put the comments on the screen. So we'll get a bit interactive in a few minutes. But the Southampton 11 as follows. McCarthy continues in goal with a back four: Ryan Bertrand, Bednarek, Stevens and Walker-Peters. A midfield four of Walcott, Ward-Prowse, Romeo and Gineppo with a front two of Che Adams and Danny Ings. Danny Ings is back for Southampton, expected to not be fit for this one, but he's in there. Vestergaard's their only big miss, really.
Yeah.
A very strong Southampton team tonight.
Yeah, certainly their first choice front six there. Vestergaard is, should hopefully be a big miss. And this is why I'm not. It's Dawson that's the odd one. I'm not disgusted with this team, by the way. I've asked for him to go attacking. I'm not gonna beat the drum about Benrahma, constantly. If he's not going to feature, he's not going to feature. At some point, you have to become pragmatic and say, okay, he's not. And that's why I feel about Sebastian Haller, as you know. If it ain't going to work out, what we're going to do. So look, okay, Benrahma's not playing. I would have preferred the front three that we said in the preview. But he's got Lanzini and Yarmolenko in there. I think, by the sounds of it, that Souček is going to be slightly liberated. So we should see a little bit more attacking from him. So it's the onus is on us to attack Southampton. It is on us to try and look for openings in that slightly weakened defence and to actually go for it. And by attacking Southampton, what we will do is give our defenders a bit of a rest, because we'll be spending some time up the end of their pitch, which is going to be very, very important. The flip side of that is they have got a really good attack, but you have to imagine that maybe the switch of formation, if it is as to be believed, the 4-1-4-1, then Declan Rice will be spending a lot of his time, although he may start the game in midfield, he'll be playing a lot of his game in defence as well to try and counteract what is a really, really good attacking team. It's going to be interesting because I think the one game I've seen Southampton play with Gineppo and Walcott both played, and they seem to swap wings a couple of times. So that's going to pose its own issues for the back line. That being said, if there's one player I would trust to go up against Walcott in terms of pace, it's Ryan Fredricks. Maybe that has played some part in his decision as well, because even though he's 31, 32, he doesn't look significantly slower than he used to be, Theo Walcott. But I mean, a really good team. Danny Wings, your boy, Che Adams. Let's not forget Che Adams. I just said Theo Walcott and Ryan Fredricks. It's not. I don't think it's ridiculous to suggest that maybe Che Adams is, even with those two speed merchants on there, is possibly the fastest player on the pitch. It was important we got a little bit of pace in there in this team, and I think we've managed to do that as best as we can, given we do have a very slow squad.
Yeah, I think Walcott starting the right, probably he'll be up against Creswell, but the Gineppo is against Fredricks is just as quick, if not quicker than Walcott. I think their pressing will cause us concern. They like to press from the front. They like to hassle us. We've got, unfortunately, we don't really have any ball playing defenders in there. Craig Dawson just boots it more than Balbuena, and Balbuena's not great at distribution. So I just don't see us having much possession. Saying that midfield we've got out tonight should retain the ball quite a lot, and it's quite funny that Moyes spoke about Benrahma's lack of ball of intention. He's got a midfield five in there that should be really good at keeping the ball between them, essentially. So that should be a matchup. We should be winning the midfield battle. We've got to try and take advantage of the fact that Southampton have got two up front. They tend to always drop one back. Danny Ings or Che Adams can often be found dropping in midfield or dropping out wide to combat the five. But that's a really strong Southampton team. On the flip side, it should mean that we are a little bit fresher, or our players are a little bit fitter, and come the 80th minute, hopefully we'll see a little bit of fatigue, because when I watched Southampton against Fulham, they almost seemed to get a second wind in the last 10, 15 minutes. Southampton actually almost conserved their energy in the second half. For the first 15, 20 minutes of the second half, they were almost just playing simple football. Then the last 20 minutes of the game, they went for it. They scored 2 goals. Both were ruled out for VAR, but it was almost like they had a game plan to just take it easy for a little bit and then try and really go for it and stuff. Strong Southampton team, lots of ability in there. Like I said, I think Bertrand will be our sort of unexpected threat, if you want, coming down that left side against Yarmolenko, because I do think it'll be him that's on the right. Anyway, myself and Gonzo are going to have a little bet now. Gonzo's thinking of a phrase. For those of you who don't know, we put a little fiver on, a little accumulator in the West Ham game, and if it wins, we give the winnings away. All you have to do to enter is put in the phrase, which Gonzo will tell you in a minute. But Gonzo, is there anything you're fancying for the bet?
Yeah, I fancy another Soucek goal. Actually, I know I sort of say it as a standard bit, but I don't know if he has good odds. If not, then maybe Ogbonna. But Soucek, I'm far more likely to score, obviously, than Ogbonna.
Is there anything else you'd fancy apart from that? Anything else you want to chuck in there?
I might. Maybe I don't know. Actually, I'll leave cards. I was thinking Fornell's card, but I might have that wrong. You know more about cards than we do more about everything.
The thing is, the one thing we've got tonight actually is the most lenient referee in the Premier League. He only averages 2 yellow cards a game, so it's tricky to call the player, but it should also dictate the tempo of the match as well. So the ref will let a few things go. So I think Romeo, I bet you in the review, you're going to come on here cursing about Romeo because he'll just consistently foul our players. And with this lenient ref, I think you'll let him get away with quite a lot, actually. So I think you're going to get a bit annoyed with Romeo tonight. But saying that, I might put Romeo in because with our technical players in there, I do think there's going to be a lot of fouls committed by Romeo and Ward-Prowse in the middle of the pitch. We've got an extra player in midfield. We should utilise that. So I'm going to put Romeo in there.
I think we'll get corners. I think we'll get 5 or 6 corners.
Okay, I'll put both teams to score in there because I think the Saints will score a goal as well. And then corners, we'll put over 4 corners for West Ham. So 5 or more corners for West Ham. That's enough. That's 40-1. So we need Soucek to score a goal. We need Southampton to score a goal. Romeo to be booked for Southampton. West Ham to get 5 or more corners. We're putting a fiver on. 200 quid to somebody. All you have to do to enter is enter the phrase in the live chat. And the phrase, Gonzo, is...
Moyes' itchy finger.
Moyes' itchy finger. Okay, lovely. If you pop that in the live chat, Moyes' itchy finger, you're entered into the bet giveaway. If that bet wins, we will give someone £200 cash. Now, before we, myself and Gonzo will talk quickly about our final thoughts, and then we're going to turn to the live chat for 5 minutes and get your thoughts on the lineup, the game, your score prediction, anything goes. It doesn't matter. You put it in. But final thoughts, Gonzo. What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
I never have the chat up. I'm enjoying watching everybody type in Moyes' itchy finger. I think that's quite. That's quite amusing. I quite like it. I can see sketches in there. Sketch, just to let you know, I got your parcel. I've not opened it yet. I know it's from you because it's got that airmail stamp on it. But thank you. I'm going to open it and I'll be getting back to you. But I want to thank you there. Well, Moyes' itchy finger. Let's hope it ain't too itchy today, and he's not too desperate to get players off the bench because it's going to mean that we're doing okay. I don't know. I can't be. When you said you didn't like the lineup, and you were going doing your intake of air like a greedy car mechanic. Oh, it's gonna nasty that. Then I was thinking the worst. I think the Dawson one is a surprise. However, the rest, I really don't mind Gio. I don't think he's got any much chance. Look, it's pointless saying what we would have done. We said that in a preview. It's not the team that you and I picked. However, it is a bit of a halfway house. I could pick holes in it in terms of Haller, Johnson not being in there, Dawson there. But as much as there is to pick holes in, there's just as many things to be, might be excited's a strong word, but to be hopeful about. And I think Yarmolenko, Lanzini in particular, Fornell's coming back. I've got no problem with Fornell's. I like Fornell's. I just don't like Fornell's being the guy that has to create everything. Well, he doesn't today. Fornell's can just be El Fornicador and do his stuff and do what he does and work hard and do that. I quite like it. I'm, in many respects, I've got to say, I am more confident and hopeful now than I was this morning. I don't mind the team.
I will say that as well, actually. I think I'm a bit more optimistic than I was this morning because I think we've got goals in us. The one thing we didn't have, and I saw the Brighton team, we looked at it and we thought, how on earth are we going to score? Now, granted, we did go and score 2, but it didn't scream like a side that was going to beat Brighton. This one, we've got goals in us. I do think Southampton's got goals in them, and I think that defence has got goals conceded in them, our defence, that is. But going forward, I expect us to test McCarthy. I expect us to have possibly the most shots we've had this season in a game. But I also expect Southampton to have 60-65% of possession with the ball, and that's going to be a trouble for us. Their wide players are going to trouble us getting forward. with their fullbacks. I think Walker Peters is fantastic at getting forward. Fornals, unfortunately, will probably be on the left and is quite slow, so we can't expose Walker Peters' space when he loses possession. There's no one to run into there. If anything, I would like to see Lanzini on the left and Fornals in the middle, actually, so that we've got at least one fast player on the side. I'm pleased to see Bowen taking out the starting 11, to be honest with you. He's been out of sorts lately, looking a little bit tired, so I'm glad he's probably been dropped. Right, live chat. If you're watching along, get your thoughts into the live chat, whether it's your opinion on the lineup, opinion on a certain player starting, a score prediction, anything. Just chuck it up. Myself and Gonzo have a couple of minutes discussion, then we'll switch over to Charlie for their player.
I'm joining Charlie for the watch along at half time.
Good man. Well, there you go. Well, join Charlie for the whole game, not just half time, but Gonzo will be on at half time. Well, anyway, Saeed Benrahma, well, at least he's got something in common with Hassan Huttle. He's been told not to turn up tonight. Right, here we go. Let's start clicking on it. People asking about Benrahma. We'll leave the Benrahma thing. We've done it enough. We'll leave the Benrahma thing. Abdullah doesn't agree with you. He says that Dawson, Fredricks on one side, Gonzo, you're wrong. The team is shocking. Hindsight will prove one of you.
We don't. Yeah, absolutely. It's not even an opinion. The result will suggest who's right and who's wrong.
Thanks to Langer Studio for the $2. He says Johnson, Alier, Benrahma, and Diop confidence low now. Can't really disagree too much with that. I don't think Johnson's confidence will be low. I think he'll be. I would like to think some of these players, Johnson, Bowen, Soufal, have been taken to one side and said, "You're starting against Everton. You're starting unless the guy replacing you has a 10 out of 10 performance. You're in the team for the next game. Don't worry about it." I think someone suggested earlier on is the reason Dawson starting with Balbuena so that against Everton we can play Diop and Balbuena, and I think that's a very valid opinion and aspect there. Maybe Moyes has actually got one eye on the next game and thinking, right, I need two partnerships here, so I'm going to have my strongest and my weakest centre back and my two sort of decent centre backs together. So I wouldn't be surprised whoever said it. Sorry, it was early on you said it. I think it's a very valid point, Gonzo.
Yeah, I mean, the list there. Yeah, Johnson less so. I think there because I've heard him interviewed a number of occasions. Very, very pragmatic. He knows his chance will come. I would imagine Moyes made a lot of fuss of Johnson and the coaching staff. I'd imagine actually at the moment he probably feels $1 million in many respects, and he's probably been told that he's unlucky not to be involved. Benrahma we know about, and we've discussed it so much. Haller we discussed so much. Diop's the big one. Diop's confidence. That could be very a penny for his thoughts. As I say, wouldn't be surprised if a transfer request goes in tomorrow morning. Wouldn't be surprised at all.
Irish Thomas said Moyes should have played this against Brighton and brought back our usual starters for this game. I have to agree with that. I think he's got the wrong way around, really. He's playing the more attacking team against the better side, and then the more defensive side against the weaker attacking side. Good point by John here. Balbuena isn't in the team or on the bench. I would like to think he's just been rested, to be honest, Gonzo, but we won't know, will we? Until
I think so. I think so. Yeah. Clearly, Moyes likes him, and I think he's a first-team starter when everybody's fit. So I'm not reading too much into that.
Metal Cordy says Ings will back one, Gonzo.
Yeah. I mean, he may well do. I'm a bit worried about the defense, just like everybody else. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's going to be really interesting. I think Declan Rice got a big role to play today, and it ain't going to be the Declan Rice that we have got used to running up and down the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And dribbling and popping up a left wing and right wing and having shots. I think you'll see him more as a third centre half today when required, when we're defending.
That's a good point. And to be honest with you, I don't think it's a bad thing, because I think while Declan's looked good sometimes with the box-to-box role, I think he's had some bad games as well this season. He's had more bad games this season than he did last season already. We're not even halfway through it because he's learning a new role. But I do think a defensive midfield role is possibly the right thing to do for Declan. Ben says everybody needs to back Dawson. The one thing I will say for Ben, I'm going to not speak for everyone, I can't do that, but I'll speak for the majority of people here. It doesn't mean we don't back him. We just don't think he's good enough. You're allowed to do both. You can think a player's not good enough, but want him to do really well. And anyone that doesn't want to see Dawson start, including myself, doesn't necessarily mean that we think he's going to have, well, we want to see him have a crack. We want to see him have a good game. We just don't think he's good enough. Simple as that, really. And Samuel, thank you for the $5. Samuel says, thoughts on Moyes' management of player confidence? We sort of just touched on that, Gonzo.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think it's... I don't think it's great, but I mean, this is. I've got to say, it's no huge surprise. I've said a few times recently. I think Moyes is 5 or 6 players away, even in that first team, from the team want to play. Moyes has players he doesn't want. Now, it's obviously it's advantageous for Moyes to make them happy, but I'm not sure he's that bothered. I think there's a certain number of players who he's not interested in. I certainly know Heller's one of them. I've been suspicious for quite some time now that Ben Rama's one of them. And it appears that Diop's one of them as well. And it's just really, is their confidence going to have dipped? Oh, massively. I can't imagine. I just wonder how bothered he is about it. I'm not sure he's that bothered. I think he might want to get rid of all of them.
And right before we disappear, a couple more comments on myself and Gonzo disappeared. Make way for Charlie. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. There's nearly 700 watching. Be appreciated. You could drop a like on the video as well. Thank you for the support. Rudy, Alan said he lives in Southampton. Their fans are very confident with their pace and pressing us and will tear us apart, but he's worried about our set paces. The good thing with Bowen being rested is it should be Creswell on all the set pieces tonight, and I hope that's the case because I missed him in the first half. I hate not seeing Creswell take a corner. If we get a corner and Creswell don't take it, I'm banging my head off.
Oh, I think you're banging your head because Fornells will take one or two. Fornells will definitely take a corner or two, right?
Jack, thank you for the $4.99, a very precise amount. Maybe he's hoping we're going to buy something specific with the $4.99. Absolutely does. 3 packs of Pringles. And what happens with Ben Ram at the end of the season if Moyes continues to bin him off? I mean, we've got to pay 25 million for him, haven't we? You know, it's I don't think we will. I don't think we will, Jack. I think we'll try and wriggle out of it. I really do. I think we'll be looking for a clause somewhere. So I'm going to try and give the old secret agent, not that one. Not that secret agent that's been rumbled as being false, but I'm going to give the not so secret agent a tinkle in a week and see what he thinks about it. To be honest with you, well, I think to be honest with you, I think when Moyes is still waiting for a new contract, I think he's playing with fire a little bit because Sullivan won't be happy with the situation with Ben Man. Sullivan, we know what Sullivan's like. Sullivan's got an ego. Sullivan's ego comes before West Ham United, and it comes miles before David Moyes. And the last thing he wants is an agent who has done West Ham a few favours, shall we can reward it like that? I'm an agent on the phone saying to David Sullivan, "Oi, mate, what's going on? How am I meant to get my next player to West Ham when my last player isn't getting a game?"
Well, he's left him. He's left Salthouse.
Has he?
Rama has left 100%. 100%. He's left Salthouse now. So that's it. He can go. Hey! No, I'm only joking. I'm joking. Don't get... No hate, please.
T36, thank you for the £2. Thoughts on Lanzini starting? Right, we're going to have to wrap this up, Gonzo. We're buzzing. Dylan again, thank you for the $5 Aussie dollars. Have 1 pack of Pringles.
That's worth about tuppence.
I'll get the Pringles.
I'm joking, Dylan. That's a joke. A bad joke. Very much appreciated, mate.
I'm going to get the Pringles because you don't like them enough. You slag them off too much, so I'm going to go get the barbecue ones. I like those ones. Are you okay with barbecue and Pringles since you don't like them on pizzas?
Geo, I have got many Pringles, my friend. Many Pringles. I cuddle my Moyes' itchy finger.
Happy days. Anyway, David M. Yeah, I think he is keeping an eye on. Anyway, we're going to disappear. Charlie is probably waiting for us to get off. He's cursing and swearing at his computer that me and Gonzo are still live. Charlie will be live in a minute. Don't go anywhere. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video and all that good stuff. Gonzo will be live at halftime with Charlie, and then at full time myself and Gonzo will be back for our review. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you in a bit.